What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a special edition of the Wrestling Wire, coming at you live on a Monday night of all times. I know Monday Night Raw is on. However, we got something important coming up this weekend we got to talk to you about. Let me first introduce to you my co-host. He's over here somewhere. Is he over this way? Is he over that way? He's one of these ways. There he is.
It's nice. It's going to be just like this cookie. Good.
Dude, that's a cookie? That thing's like the
Massive.
size of a softball.
I know. And it's a s'more cookie. And it's delicious. It's so good.
Did you make that? Where am I at?
Come to PA.
Never mind. You can keep it. You can keep that up there in the Amish country, bro. Not coming. I'm especially driving in this weather like we've had today. I am not interested.
It's still going on up here. It's still storming. Like Northern Virginia, DMV, PA has gotten like the whole swirly McStormy thing going on.
Dude, we had 80-mile-an-hour sustained winds here today.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
80-mile-an-hour sustained is ridiculous. That's just stupid. Surprisingly, though, the interstate wasn't too god-awful, so I got home at a decent time. Anyway, yeah, I'm not coming to Amish country just to get a cookie. I'll pass. Forget it.
Well, we'll be coming down in less than 2 weeks, or actually a week, 2 weeks now. So it'll be 2 weeks, and we're completely done with most of our traveling, except for medical stuff. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Right on.
We'll be closer to you, closer to shows.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm actually trying to get a little get together. Actually, going to be making some barbecue. Going to be making some oxtail. So I definitely invite you out to that.
Well, I appreciate the invite. So this weekend you're going to be in the area anyway. You're going to be in North Carolina this weekend. I unfortunately will not be anywhere this weekend. I'll be in my house predominantly. So this weekend coming up, we've got the Andre the Giant. This is the Rankin Museum of American Heritage, a giant celebration. So there's a museum out there in Ellerbe, North Carolina, and this guy's got like a custom recliner that Vince bought and paid for Andre is there. He showed me pictures. I met the guy over the weekend at the gathering up in Charlotte.
How was the gathering?
Dude, super cool. We're actually going to talk about that on Wednesday. I just confirmed that while, a few minutes ago before I came back in and locked the door and stuff. I just got done confirming Wednesday's show for that. Yes, barricading myself. I barricade myself in my office as to not be disturbed by the children. Yeah. Now that's until I replace that with a solid core door and deadbolt and everything else, which is on the list for next year. This room is going to set me back, but I want to do something really intricate with this office. We'll have to show some pictures when it gets done, but this is going to be a studio office theater,
very nice.
Of those things. So I'll be able to broadcast from here, have somebody sitting in that recliner. Both of them have cameras on them, and we'll actually have a projector as well. And I have a way to link the projector to the stream I got a way to tie it all in. So it's going to be wicked.
That's what's up.
You're above the Mason-Dixon line, so I had to say wicked because it would make sense to you. Nice. Oh no, I gotta wait for Nasta to get here for that to really make sense.
Yeah, we're really just waiting on him. He's a little behind, but it's all good. He's getting ready. I mean, you can't blame him. He's already starting to get packing for the show.
Right.
This week, he's driving down Thursday morning, 3 a.m. to get there. Gotcha. It's gonna be like 10-hour drive.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Let's catch up on some comments real quick. Thomas Scott chimed in. What's up, Thomas? Clifford Stanley chimed in. What's up, Cliff? He said, hey to everybody. Yeah, that weather was nuts today. No,
Mm-hmm.
sir, I am not going to be at Waxhaw Friday. Unfortunately, I Thursday morning I go in for surgery. I will be unable to travel for probably the weekend. I should be good to go back to work Monday. But Thursday morning, man, I go in for surgery, so I'll be down for the count for the weekend. That's why we're doing a show tonight. We're doing a show Wednesday. We potentially have somebody on the hook for tomorrow as well.
Probably so, because we're not doing Thursday.
Well, if we don't have a
Pardon me.
guest tomorrow, we could do like a thing, just you and me talking about, some indie stuff or whatever. Talk about SummerSlam, whatever. We can come up with some things to talk about. We can talk about everything. SummerSlam was awesome for anybody that's sitting there like, SummerSlam and the Jimmy J Uso bloodline, whatever. It was some shit nobody expected to happen. So
Oop.
peace out. Freight Train J, what is up, my friend? Bill said the gathering was great. The announcer sucked. Yeah, I think that dude's retiring. He keeps saying he's retiring every year now. He said he's retiring every year for the past 5 years. I don't know. Oh yeah, man. That's all it is, Cliff. It's just me. I had to pick a week, and unfortunately, that one I had that scheduled before I was approached to ring announce on the 11th. I'm pissed I had to cancel that.
It's a
I really
shame,
want to be there
but
because
hey, health and family come first, bro. So
yeah, I agree, but it's one of those
hence,
things where
yeah, I know where you're coming from. Hence, I've had to unfortunately cancel some bookings and cut back on the bookings to just local stuff where I'm at the area. I almost took that booking. I was supposed to take that booking. I was in Delaware. It's about an hour and a half away, but never got back to me, unfortunately. So it is what it is. It happens. But hey, at least it's out there. At least I know I have connections up here. So
yeah, there you go. Well, dude, there's more coming down the pipeline anyway,
oh, yeah.
and
Kevin is a great connection up here. I mean, there's also these legacies wrestling up here. You got the Monster Factory up here.
the Monster Factory.
Yeah, well, nearby Jersey,
Okay,
So you
I was
have
about to say,
just
damn.
like a lot of wrestling. There's East Coast Championship Wrestling. Yeah, they're all. It's like North Carolina. You could throw a rock, and there's a lot of promotions up here, the Upper East Coast.
Yeah, that New York, New Jersey market is pretty big. We got a couple of buddies up there, fellow podcasters up that way.
Shout out to the Twins podcast.
Yep, and the dudes at
Dudes at
ringside.
ringside.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
that as well. Man, it does suck. I have never had to cancel a booking.
Mm-hmm.
I've even been double booked and hot shotted.
I've done that. It's it's rough. It's rough.
But I've never had to cancel. I've never had to cancel, so this one kind of, and it wasn't like I had to cancel on short notice either. I mean I was at least able to give them a good leeway. Let them let the promotion know, hey, look, I'm sorry to tell you, I just realized this is this day. I have surgery the day before. Do not count on me. I'm being told 3 days before I'll be able to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
However, God help you if I feel good about 12 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, because I might find I might get my ass all the way over there to Waxhaw, man.
That's crazy.
I don't think
Take
I
your
can
time.
do it.
Take your time, man. Rest up. I hope everything goes well.
Me too.
You know.
We'll know. Well, we'll know. You'll know. You'll know. You'll be one of the first ones to know. So keep positivity, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, dude, so this Andre the Giant thing is cool as hell. They've got a huge card of matches. I see Rosemary's there, Savannah Evans from Impact,
Always. Yep.
Logan Quindell versus JAC. That is going to be
A hell of a match. I'm excited for that one.
fight. because JAC is nothing but the truth. Martin Stone, former NXT WWE
You got El
alum,
Primo Más Fino, Gustavo, going one-on-ones against Tony. Why I say
Toby.
Tony? Toby. That's going to be a hell of a match. Watching those two go at it is going to be a kind of a clash of styles, which I'm excited for.
Right.
El
PJ
Primo's going to have
Savage.
to be on his toes on that one, quite literally.
Yep.
I'll get that matchup.
PJ Savage
Mm-hmm.
has got a hell of a challenge in front of him. Colby Carino in the house.
I know,
Colby
right?
Carino, dude, is
Obviously
fantastic.
he's a cool dude, but man, is he an incredible talent.
So last year, as a matter of fact, at the gathering, I'm outside. It's you're gonna hate me. Bill Apter, myself, AJ Frost, Thomas Scott, Colby Carino. We are standing outside just smoking, bullshitting. And this was right, I think right before I got pulled into doing the camera work, the camera job for High
Mm-hmm.
Spots. But man, Colby was just so cool and open book, talk about anything. He was just down with it all. Now I noticed he's got an NWA banner next to him. The rumor mill on Colby Carino is Orlando.
Could be.
And he's not the only one going to Orlando. Brian Pillman Jr., if I'm not mistaken, recently, was it him or was it the other cat, the other second gen star? I think it was him. It was one of them cats from AEW. Pretty successful tag team. I could have swore it was Pillman Jr. If I'm wrong, somebody out there in La La Land can correct me. But one of the two just got picked up by the NXT brand, and they're down there in the Performance Center. If it was Brian Pillman Jr., his last indie appearance may have been this weekend at the gathering.
Yeah.
That's another guy I met this weekend. I forgot to mention that earlier when we talked. I walked up to him, hey brother, congrats, and I just kept on pushing. I wasn't really trying to stand around and talk to very long time with too many people.
Mm-hmm.
I was more or less just interacting quick,
saying you're doing your rounds, you're saying your
yeah.
hellos, you're introducing yourself, doing your networking. That totally get it, man.
Had a good conversation with CW Anderson. I really do think very highly of that guy.
Same.
Checked in on Lodi. Lodi's doing good. For those who don't know, 6 weeks ago, in a couple of days, Lodi actually had a heart attack and had to have open heart surgery. So he's allowed to make appearances. He's allowed to travel limitedly. He is not allowed in the gym. He's not allowed to wrestle. So, but the guy's in good spirits. It is Brian Pillman Jr. See, that's it. Then
All right.
Cliff was there. I got to see Cliff at the gathering. But like, dude, Tommy Dreamer was funny as hell.
Yeah, he could be a hoot.
So we're walking past Dreamer, and he just happened to look up, and I said, "Oh, hey, sir. Just wanted to say I enjoy listening to your opinions on the." On the Busted Open show, because he gives a good objective opinion. I do agree a lot with Bully Ray. Tommy is a very open-minded individual when it comes to wrestling and its perceptions. So I like listening to Tommy as well. But so we were having a discussion about that, and he looked at my daughter who's wearing my shirt, and he's like, "Did your daddy just kind of like drag you along here?" And she looked up, "No." Just as serious as she could be. "No." "Oh, you wanted to be here?" "Yeah, I like going with my dad because we're going to a wrestling show after this." And he was like, "Wait, what?" And she said, "Yeah, we came here just to hang out for a couple of hours before we go to the show. He has to work tonight." So to
Awesome.
completely put me over with Tom, and I'm like, damn. So
Nice.
so Tommy says, looks right at her. He's having a one-on-one conversation with her. It's funny as hell to me. She's like the most over person at conventions. Um, so he's like, did you get to go see the Barbie movie yet? And she said, no, I haven't found an adult who will take me. And I'm like, oh, it just buried me. Thank you. Great job. Great job, kid. No. So I was like, we were supposed to go see the Meg, but something happened last night. We were unable to go. He said, well, now you can take her to both. I'm like, thanks, Tommy. Appreciate
That's
that.
awesome.
Victoria was there.
No, she's a sweetheart.
She absolutely is. Funniest thing there with her, we're walking past, not even really like, not even trying to interact with her. She turns around, looks at my daughter. You go finish college, young lady, and that's all she said. She turned right around and walked away. I'm like, really? That's where we're at with this.
Yeah, makes sense. Solid advice, Miss Victoria. Thank you.
Yep. Shit, man. Everybody was cool. Deanna Ferrazzo, spoke to her. Um, and my daughter looks at me and she goes, "Who is she?" And I'm like, "You remember meeting Jordan a couple months ago in Tennessee?" She said, "Yeah." I was like, "That's the belt that Jordan's held that belt. Jordan and her have wrestled a bunch of times, and Gail Kim was there, and it's
sweet.
crazy." Dude, it's crazy the amount of people that are at the gathering, dude. And for people that don't understand it, it's like this is where fans go to be fans and enjoy themselves is stuff like this. But our guest has arrived, so
Finally.
oh, we knew he
He's
was.
probably cooking something. That's what it was. He was cooking something or barbecuing something.
Oh, he
That's
was
why it was
cooking,
taking
or
so
he
long.
was
Yeah.
barbecuing.
Yeah. He
Oh,
takes his time.
Well, he's wearing a white shirt, so if he was cooking barbecue, he definitely wasn't wearing that.
Yeah,
Because there's no way you're walking away from
take a
good
shit.
barbecue unscathed. It
True.
doesn't happen.
This is true.
So anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Our guest at this time, the owner of D365 Promotions, Mr. Kevin Nasta. What is up, sir?
What's up? No, it was not cooking. No barbecue was involved. As far as the last hour is concerned, I do run a baseball league called Stratomatic. It's done with cards and dice and charts and things like that. It's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons of baseball. And I had two gentlemen at the house that were making up their games from last weekend. That's why I was a little
That
late, because I'm
sounds
I'm the
pretty
commissioner.
dope, Kev. I didn't know that you held your nerd card proud like that. That's awesome. Do you play Dungeons and Dragons?
I do not, but I do enjoy any kind of strategy or games, luck or roll of the dice. Not a craps player, but when it comes to baseball, I love it. Stratomatic's been around since the 50s, and I've been playing since 1989, and I've been running a league at my house once a month. I got 9 other people that come to my house. We play 6 or 9 games a month. We play 10 months, and we draft in January, and the cycle continues.
Pretty freaking dope. I need to get you in contact with Grimsteel Games. They're in the process of making a wrestling board game, which is kind of right up your alley. You draw cards, and that's how you get your gimmick and your move set and everything. It's random, so you never know what you're gonna get. So I'll get you in touch with those guys.
Sounds good to me.
That is incredibly not something I would have ever thought of.
A lot of people don't. They see me and they're like, I never would have thought you would like. I mean, look, I played organized ball for 36 years. I coached from 1994 to 2017, including Division II NCAA, and I can't look. I'm almost 50. I'm not going out there and running around playing ball anymore. I mean, I literally can pull a hamstring just thinking about it. So Stratomatic baseball, it's like the original fantasy baseball. They do all sports. So they got football, hockey, basketball as well. but I've been playing since, like I said, since 1980. I learned how to play in '88. Played in my first league in '89, and I ran a league for 10 years when I lived in Staten Island. I moved to New Jersey in 2009, and then in 2015, I said, "Oh hell, you know what? I missed it too much. Let's do it again," and we've been playing since.
No, I wasn't saying that as in a reference to you in playing a game like that. That's not what I was talking about. What I meant was I never would have thought about a roll the dice version of baseball with like Dungeons and Dragons, but baseball. I never would have thought of it.
One of the scorecards.
That's pretty cool.
So it's interesting. Like it takes a good solid season to kind of get your feet wet in it. So usually whoever starts as a rookie manager in the league, they usually struggle because there's just a lot of intangibles. Because not only like you're actually rolling the dice, playing the card as itself, but there's also the strategy that goes into it, like knowing when to steal bases, knowing when to bunt, when to hit and run, when to take your pitcher out. Keep watching the fatigue level of your relievers, and also paying attention to the tendency of the team you're playing and see are they rolling hot? What's the role that that column that they seem to be hitting over and over and over again. So you don't throw a reliever in there and play right into their hot hand. So I mean, there's a lot of intangibles.
It's a lot of strategy. That's pretty.
Yeah, and you got to know baseball, and it's not just being like, hey, I'm a Met fan, so I'm just going to draft everybody on the Mets. Now you have to be a baseball fan. You have to be a stats guy. It was analytics before the movie Moneyball came out. Let's just put it this way: Stratomatic, it was the original Moneyball because it's all the cards are based on the statistics of the season before. So we're playing with the 2022 season, and all those cards are based 100% based on the batters and their offensive output and the pitchers and their pitching and the defensive ratings and things like that. So it's all analytics. I'm sure they have algorithms and everything else, but it's all based on tendencies. And once you play a lot, you can kind of almost guess what you think the card might look like. So when you're drafting, you're like, all right, this guy had this particular number defensively and had this great year offensively. So, in my head, I'm kind of picturing what this card might look like. Is it worth drafting this guy? Our drafts take like 6 hours. We drafted in a restaurant in January, and we were there from 9 a.m. to almost 7 p.m. We call it the 3-meal day because we literally had 3 meals in the bar.
That's not 6 hours. That is not 6 hours.
It just depends. The more teams you have, the longer it takes, and then the more players you need, the more you have to stay in the draft. Some guys are in and out in 15 rounds. Some guys are in there for 23 rounds.
Wow. Well, I get what you mean, but like I was saying, that's what I was getting at, man. It's 6 hours draft. Okay, I understand that, but that ain't 6 hours. That's 10 hours. That's almost twice that number. But that's still cool. That is still cool.
It's good. It's good times, man, and it's good to. They have computer versions of it, but it's not the same, And when you get to a certain age, you don't really get out much anymore, especially with some of your friends who have kids. So it's good to at least have that 1 day guaranteed a month where you can get out and get together with your friends and have a good time.
Right.
Speaking of good time, are you excited for this weekend?
Dude, I'm pretty psyched. I just put 30 of those card sets together.
Dude, I saw them. Do you have any on hand that you could show off real quick?
I do not. They are downstairs.
Oh man. Actually, I'll just show the picture here of the card set you're talking about here. He's getting them ready, getting them all packaged, ready to go. I'm excited.
Already sold 2 of
them. No way! Already? You just shared the picture today?
Once I posted on Twitter, the card guys go crazy. So I already sold 2 of them. So basically, the set's already paid for. So.
Oh, yeah, you actually did a nice little video here.
Yeah, I did some music, so you didn't hear my wife's Sex in the City fucking marathon in the background.
Actually, somebody's asking, can they get these at the meet and greet this weekend?
They can. They will be available. at the meet and greet at the Damage 365 Promotions tables. They are $50 each. As far as getting them signed, if you buy it from our table, I will make sure Bob Orton signs his. Everybody else's table, though, you would have to pay whatever that talent is requiring. But I will guarantee you will get your Bob Orton card signed. There is
1 second. I think I have it here. Let me just show. Boom. That's them. As they arrived. Do not like the rubber bands, but the
rubber bands are off.
They look beautiful.
They were just there to keep them from sliding all over the box. But yeah, I mean, what did I say? There was how many talents? There's
19 talents. Let me see. I think here we go.
So there's
the
19 talents. Yeah, 19 talents is
17 talents, 19 cards, and the checklist.
Yeah. So there's 17 talents, but 16 talent cards because the Powers of Pain are on one card.
True.
And then you also have the checklist card. You have the tribute to Andre, which is going to be the last card of the set, and then you have the poster card, which is the actual poster for the event, which is card number 1. And then some people randomly will get a variant of Rosemary because there's a Rosemary card in there, and then you'll get a variant of Rosemary, which is Courtney Rush. So you'll get a variant Courtney Rush card in selective sets. I can't even tell you which ones they are because they were just randomly popped in. I ran out of cases because Amazon sent me the hinged cases and they don't fit well in the hinged case. So I have to send those back so I can get the slide cases. But I will have minimum. I will have 28 of them at the show because we did sell 2 already. Which a couple of them I'm going to have to give out. Like I'm going to obviously Mr. David over here will get his set for being the guy who created the set. And Leland's would get a set since this is predominantly their event. And see what happens. But minimum, we'll say minimum, there's going to be at least 20 to 23 sets available for sale. But I wouldn't.
That's still.
I wouldn't wait around.
No.
And I'll have some afterwards. As soon as the new cases come in, I have 10 more sets sitting on the table waiting for their cases.
Gotcha.
I put a lot of hard work into this. There was a lot of back and forth between me and Kevin. Like, what does this look like? He's like, no, I hate it. I'm like, but I hate what you just sent me. Until finally we kind of like got to one with like, all right, this came out really nice.
That's like
you're thinking after all these years he'd listen. When I say, no, that doesn't look good. And he's like, oh, no. And he has like a mental breakdown. And then he puts it on. He puts it on the screen, and he's like, "Oh wait, you're right."
I've been working with him since November. I feel your pain. Anyway, So we were talking about. He actually sent me the Jerry the King Lawler card that he had made for this. He sent me that one, and was like, "Hey man, can you give me your thoughts and opinions?" And I'm like, "What's a fucking trading card? I don't know much of anything about trading cards. I don't do trading cards. You're a baseball guy. I got a shoebox you need to go through from, I don't know, the 60s. Okay. 60s, 70s, probably. I don't know. I don't know anything about baseball cards. So anyway, so he sent me that, and I think the only thing I didn't like was the font, right? It was the font, the way Jerry's name looked. It looked too stretched out, and to me, I can read. I'm not dyslexic, but I couldn't read that.
So yeah, I had to change it.
Yeah.
Then that was from there. It just started flowing together, and then I wanted a theme. I wanted to look big, gigantic, as Lorenzo faints. Kind of have that feel like he's in front of the skyline or whatever, make him look.
He's the center of attention. This is why we're doing the event. I've been working. I would say what now? 3 years with the cards. 2020 was the first year we started doing the cards together.
I think it's a little bit later than that. Yeah.
Actually, it might be early. Yeah, it might be 99 because we didn't start putting the copyright on there until 2020. So the ones that don't have the copyright on them, I think, are from 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we had, a lot of times I get these urges. So like I'll get like this urge to be like, oh my god, I gotta make this card. I'd be like, yo, here's some pictures. Can you make me a card? He's like, yeah, when's the sign? I'm like, 3 weeks. And he's like, seriously? Like, can you give me some notice? I'm like, you did 3 weeks. You got it. Go run with it. And then it would be like 2 days before the event. I'm like, bro, where are the cards? He's like, putting them in the mail tomorrow. So we've learned to not do that anymore. So I've learned to give him advance notice so he could play around with the designs. And
because I'm a perfectionist. I'm not gonna lie. I get really finicky how things look. And then, like, I'm glad that I have him around to kind of bounce back ideas. Because I guess I'm like, I don't know what to think about this. So I'll send you.
And I have a local printer here, so we don't have to worry about the time that you needed. We needed to secure a time for the printer, and then they had to print it. Then they had to make sure that it wasn't effed up, and then they needed 2 days to ship it, which was additional cost because it's 2 day shipping. $8 instead of $8, it was it's like $27 to ship it. Then I would get the cards and it'd be miscut or something was cut off or something. No fault to him because he's not the one that's printing it; he's designing it. So it would be like, oh, great. They're like, oh, well, we'll take care of you next time. So I was like, you know what? You design it. You get paid to design it. My local printer who prints my 8x10s for my events has the stock I need. They'll do it at a fraction of the cost. And I could go down there and pick it up the same day that, they tell me, hey, Kev, it's ready. Boom, I'm there. Pick it up. If there's something wrong, they'll fix it. It'll be done the next day. I don't have to worry about shipping. So it cut out a lot of unnecessary costs and definitely unnecessary headaches.
Well, that's the point of business, though. You're able to introduce a product into a market that's big into the collectible side. It's a lot of people would say it's a niche item. I don't think it's a niche item. I think it's a rare item that people would like to have.
Right.
I mean, I think the cards are great. I think it's a great idea. I think they're cool.
Plus, it's a great way to sell. I mean, if you do it right, and the way I do it, or it's like people come and say, "Hey, can I get a picture?" I'm like, oh yeah, sure. How about you get a trading card? $5, selfie for free. $10, selfie for free. Like depending on what you're selling, they sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, I sell a lot of trading cards at shows, and the reason why we do custom trading cards is for any talent that didn't really have the opportunity to wrestle for a program that offered trading cards. Some independent companies do it. Some companies in Japan and Mexico do it. Impact did it early, and then they didn't for years, and then they just recently started bringing back some trading cards. So there's not a lot of options out there, especially for the the independent stars out there that might have appeared on AEW Dark or did a thing for Impact or did a dark thing for WWE or whatever. It helps. I bring them in. Look, everybody, and I'm talking about every vendor out there is going to come to the show with 8x10. That's what you do. But if that person has been to that market numerous times, now if I'm the third person out of 5 bookings they've had that weekend and I'm that third person, I have to offer something different. And there's only a certain amount of photos you can offer, especially on the independent scene, because they either pay for their pro shots or they get them taken at independent shows in the back, and then I have to rely on them to send them to me, or I can hit up the photographer and do a deal with him to make sure, or her to make sure that their watermark is still on the photo, and then usually I hook them up with an autographed version of it and things like that. So what do I have to do that's different? The talent's probably going to show up with t-shirts, but it's going to be the same t-shirts they brought to the last show. So I have to do something different. So trading cards is definitely something different because, like I said, not everybody had that opportunity to work for WWE or NXT that has trading cards out there. And there are people that work for NXT that weren't there long enough to even have a trading card. And that's disappointing as well, because it's kind of like one of those things where you feel like you've made it. You're official. You have a trading card. You don't think that a baseball player, like when they're 18 years old coming in at high school and they sign a contract where they're in college, and you don't think they look forward to that first baseball card, that first Topps card. They're like a pig in shit, probably mailing them to everybody in their family. I mean,
Right.
that's a moment of you've made it. So that's kind of one of those things where when we make something like this, it gives them one of those kind of feelings like, oh, cool, I'm on a trading card, like I'm one of us, woo. So
Yeah.
it's fun. Plus, I give them a stack to bring, to take with them so they can sell them when they go to their indie shows and they sell gimmicks so they can make some extra money too. Because look, to be honest with you, I mean the costs aren't tremendous. That's why I like doing big sets because it makes the customer feel like they're getting their money's worth. I mean, you're getting about 20 cards for $50. And then you have the chance, 19 cards, but you have the chance to get the 20th if you get the variant. So, I mean, that's, I could turn around and be like, hey, you want the set signs, now you're talking $150, $200,
Yeah.
Right.
10. So, you start talking, crazy money, but you know what? And it's a project. People are like me. I'm a completist. I start a project. I need to complete it. I need to finish it. So if they buy this set and they bring it around and they get each card individually signed, they're not going to be happy until they have every single card signed in that set.
Exactly.
Right. Now, this weekend, you've got the Andre the Giant, a giant, celebration. Crazy thing, I was in Charlotte Saturday, the 5th. I'm talking to CW Anderson. I look to my right and I see a giant poster.
That's right.
So
and probably a giant. Sorry, I'm just grabbing myself a drink.
You're good.
Probably a giant doofus named Dave Mooch that was standing at the table with all those cool banners.
Yep. And then beside him was another guy, the guy who actually owns the museum.
Brett Webb. Yep.
Yep. So I met both of them this weekend, and because I was like, hey, I recognize that image, and he goes, oh, you're coming to the show? I'm like, no, I'm not, but I actually been advertising for it for like a couple. We've been talking about the giant thing for on and off a bit, but we just started advertising for it when we got the flyer. What was that, last week? When the hell did I get the flyer for this? I don't even remember, but I got the flyer for it, and I said, and then we're doing a podcast Monday night with Kevin, and they were like, wait, you're gonna have Kevin Nasta on? I feel sorry for you. And I'm like, I don't. I've had him on air before. He was cool as shit. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Dave was at my wedding party, so
Okay.
We like to crap on each other to whomever feels like listening.
Right.
Just for shits and giggles, but he's a good guy, and he works for Leland's Auction, so it's his company who's who spun this to get it going, and then so we have to thank Dave. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna have to be like, thanks, Dave. So.
Nah. Well, but you said Brett Webb was the owner, right? All right. So Brett's just kind of standing there looking at me like I've got three heads because I'm talking about, yeah, we're doing a podcast and everything centered around this. And Dave looks at me and says, you should enter this guy. Or interview, talking about Brett. I'm like, yeah, of course. I should. We should have him on air. I said, but I want to do it just focused on the museum. So we're already in talks. We're going to set him up with his own time slot. It's just going to be about the museum and how long he's been doing it and all that stuff. And then we're going to do a video walk through the museum at one point. We're going to schedule that maybe October. I think I'll have a free chance, and David might not be too far up the road anymore. Yeah. So I mean, we're trying to do some things to get that museum, pumped up a bit more. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people here in the South Carolina upstate area that want to go check that out when it's time anyway. So
they should come to this weekend because it's gonna be great.
Yeah. Last minute popping on people and shit. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there was a lot of feedback though from this past weekend at Charlotte at the Gathering. So, you know, he accomplished what he wanted to. He spoke to me when he was in the airport on his way home, and he said that a lot of people were walking up to him saying they've heard about it, that they were going, and they were very interested. They took flyers and things like that. And you know, North Carolina doesn't get too much wrestling. I mean, they get their steady dose. Gathering is once a year. WrestleCade is once a year, and that's pretty much it. Um, Unless you know WrestleMania decides to run in North Carolina, which I don't think they have. But you know it's really it for as far as the Carolinas are going to get as far as wrestling is concerned. So you know they might just have to jump at the opportunity. You never know when another opportunity like this is going to swing back around, and it's going to be a good time. And like I said, that this is for the museum. This is for proceeds go to the museum. We're trying to help the museum out. We're trying to do right by Brett and the museum, which houses Andre the Giant stuff, and trying to support this small town. And someone who lives in a small town, I do. My town is 1.8 miles long. You literally blink and you're in another town. And but we have, as far as the amount of foot traffic that we get here is remarkable, because um, out of every three businesses, two of them are restaurants. So it's crazy. So there's just antique shopping, places to eat, have coffee, sit by the water. You can fish, you can crab, you can just sit and eat, walk your dog, sit on the beach, whatever you want to do. We have it here. We have fresh fisheries. We have restaurants cooked to order. We have a diner that's been rated 1, 2, or 3 in the last 6 years in the whole entire state of New Jersey, right here in our town. So we've had Bobby Flay here in our town. I mean, we've had 3 of our restaurants on the Food Network. So it's I get how small town is, and mom and pops, they need all the help they can get. So this is our way of giving back to them.
Yeah, and when you say North Carolina wrestling, you mean like convention wise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
convention.
because I was about to say there's a boatload of wrestling that
Yeah.
happens in North
Yeah,
Carolina.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, convention wise, yeah, there's
Do you
not
think
too
this will
many.
be turning into a convention type deal, or I mean,
I don't think this is going to be an annual thing. If that's what if that's where you were going with that, because um, it's the 30-year anniversary of the passing of Andre the Giant. So to go be like, oh well, now it's the 31, now it's the 32. It kind of takes away from the
The
special
point.
moment that it is, and the fact that there's only so many people that we can get during Andre's era that are still with us, and it's going to get harder and harder every year to
Yeah,
maintain that without bringing the same people back every year, and then it loses its luster. Nobody wants to come back and see the same 6, 7, 8 people that are still here with us. So it's just there was a couple that we tried to get, like Jerry, but Jerry's health is iffy, so he's not
right.
going to be doing any signings for the remainder of the year. Somebody I would have liked to have there, but logistics wise didn't work out, was former ring announcer Mike McGurk. I tried to get her there, but we would love to get somebody like Paul White there. Somebody that won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yep,
That would be
that'd
cool,
be
or maybe somebody like
Claudio could probably
um,
pull that off too.
yeah.
But
Who's the other guy? The other guy that won, the former football player that won that battle.
Mr. Hype, uh,
Hell,
that
what was his
was
name?
crap.
I don't get hype. I stay hype.
It's that Hype, yes.
Yeah.
I went to high
Yeah,
school with the guy. Bless it.
but
Uh,
Mojo
literally, we did.
Raleigh.
We used to
Yeah,
do
Mojo
the
Raleigh.
Mojo
That's
Raleigh.
it.
Thank you,
Mojo Raleigh. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should do the
So
morning
yeah,
announcements.
that would have been something cool to to
Yeah,
get him to but again, that's not like an Andre esque era. It's just
uh,
Andre linked.
Jimmy
But
Hart,
you know,
Hulk Hogan.
yes,
You're
yeah,
running out of
well,
names.
Hulk Hogan. We
Yeah,
tried to Dave actually went to Florida and met with Hogan and pitched him the whole thing that we're doing. He loved the idea. He didn't want to come. Then we asked him if he would do like a video to talk about Andre, do a little Andre story so we could play it. I don't think that ever materialized. So there's going to be certain people that it's going to be hard to get them there. Um, Jimmy Hart, I don't think I he came up in conversation, but Jimmy Hart does so many signings. So
Yeah.
and problem with Ellerbe is that it's a hike from each airport, either Charlotte or Raleigh.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, you got kind of pick your expenses. Like, yeah, all right, you got to bring in a talent, you got to pay them. You got to find them a flight to either airport. You got to get them to and from that airport. You got the hotel. Then you got your meals during the day and things like that. So it's like, for a guy who's been around a lot, was it worth to have those expenses piling up? So you know, maybe in 5 years, if this happens again, maybe you see Jimmy Hart. Maybe not. I don't know. But
Right.
the plan is, as far as I know, is not for this to be an annual event. So we will see what happens, and we just pray to the wrestling gods for good weather, and yeah, and then right
Is
now,
this outdoor?
the wrestling show is outdoors,
Oh wow.
with which the entire front row is completely sold out. So we're happy about that. And the the tour and the main part of the convention is inside, and then there's going to be some talents that are going to be outside along the perimeter of the building near the entrance. Probably, I would think I think the Impact people are going to be there, and then the museum, once it's all done and everybody has gets out and we clean up, then the museum becomes the locker room for the wrestling show.
Ah,
That's
very
awesome.
cool.
That's so cool.
Jason
Go
Jason
ahead.
Mater Robinson chimed in. He said Andre was a hell of a worker in the '70s for a big guy.
And 80s.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, he was a hell of a worker regardless. Even at his heaviest and his largest, he was still believable.
Right.
He can sell a story. He can make somebody look like getting the crap beat out of him, and he was very believable. It didn't matter, and you hear the stories where some guys would wrestle him, they didn't know what he was going to do. He wasn't that type of guy who would go over, uh, stuff in the ring, in the back, like it would be all cold out there. So they were always worried about if they did something to piss him off, and he can squash half of them. And quick story, when Andre wrestled Bret Hart, Andre did that thing where he walked over him, took the step on top of him and walked over him. And they interviewed Bret with the local paper about how that feel, Andre. But he's like, why Andre does that? And they're like, no, why? Because he can.
This is true. Yeah.
That's a great answer. Do you know how he does that? Who's going to stop
he
him?
can. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what was this guy was wrestling royalty before the term wrestling royalty was even used. Before the Samoans received that, or the Hart family, or the Von Erichs, or anybody that's has legacy. And when you use that term wrestling royalty, he was wrestling royalty. He was literally what Godzilla is to Japan. He was to wrestling.
Yeah. And that's what we're celebrating this weekend. Just his legacy, in a sense, and the impact he made in the wrestling business. And he made a huge impact, no pun intended. And I'm just so hyped for it. Who is the brainchild to put all this together? And the fact that you have, 3-4 different promotions working on this together, if I'm wrong.
So
Correct me if
Leland's, I mean, technically it's more, because Titan Enterprise is got multiple companies under its umbrella. So Titan Enterprise is being represented by Titan Championship Wrestling, Goddesses of War Wrestling, Chosen Pro Wrestling, and Funhouse Wrestling. You also have there's 2 companies in North Carolina that are being represented.
Imperial and AML.
Imperial is in Tennessee. AML, and then there's 2 other North Carolina companies that are also being represented there as well. So
Wow.
that was kind of something that I spearheaded, because when they came to us about wanting to do a live wrestling show, immediately because I work with Goddesses of War, I said, let me bring the Titan guys.
WA.
I'm like,
There we go.
yeah. So I was like, let's bring in the Titan guys. They got the ring truck, they got the trailer, like, they didn't need anything. They were just going to get themselves there and boom. So I told them, I said, we can easily run a show, bring our own talent down there and do whatever we want, and great. But how are we going to get the word to the people that live in North Carolina? We don't have that kind of reach up here to North Carolina or Tennessee or Georgia or anywhere else that's driving distance, from those areas, South Carolina, even Florida. So we needed to broaden our reach. And the first person I thought of was Tracy Myers, who runs WrestleCade and AML Wrestling. So I reached out to him immediately and I said, would you be interested? We'll do a showcase match. You send us, whomever you want. You let us know how you want it done. We'll make sure it's done. The only thing we ask is if you can please promote it through AML and send out an emailer through your WrestleCade email list. Boom. Didn't even be boom, done. Tracy is a top notch, I don't like ranking people, but he's up there as far as people that, in the wrestling industry that I trust. And
rightfully so. He has a great head for this business.
He has a great head for business.
Period.
Yeah.
The car salesman. He's a car salesman, man. He knows how to promote. He knows how to market. He knows how to reach people. And, and a lot of people in North Carolina hate his commercials because he's freaking loud and obnoxious in his commercials. But you know what? They remember him.
Yeah.
They remember him. That's the main part. Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Right. I can't wait to go down there. I'm really hoping that when I turn on my TV in the hotel that one of those commercials pop up. I've yet to see.
They're great. They're great.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I might actually get my phone out and record it as it's happening. So,
wow.
But yeah. And then Rodney Freeman, who runs Imperial Pro Wrestling out of Tennessee, I befriended him a couple years ago at WrestleCade. He works with Thunder Rosa, who I also work with, so we had that in common. So we had a lot of conversation at WrestleCade, and then it filtered away from WrestleCade into Facebook messages and talking and things like that. So he was another one. So I immediately reached out to him. I said, hey, I know certain parts of North Carolina aren't that far away from Tennessee. I'm like, how far are you? And he's like, about 3 hours. So I proposed to him the same thing. And he jumped right on board immediately as well. As far as the other two companies, I think that was a combination of Brett and one of the companies actually reaching out to Dave through Leland's because they saw that we were putting this all together and they wanted to be part. So they reached out to him. And then we got everybody in touch with Billy Fetsky, who owns Titan Championship Wrestling, and he's the one really putting the matches and everything together. So once we got everybody together, we had a couple of, conference calls where everybody was online trying to do what we're going to do. And so we're having one more. Tomorrow is our final home stretch conference call, leading right up to Friday night's live press conference on Facebook, where we'll be introducing some of the talent. It's going to be a UFC style kind of press conference. So it might get a little, hectic. I'm hoping. So, but it's gonna be a fun time. We're going to swing right into Saturday with the museum tours and then the meet and greet. You'll have the street fair that's going on all day long, along with the food trucks, and of course, then you got gates open for the wrestling show at 6 with first bell at 7 p.m. And I'm sure by the end of that day, everybody's going to be a very, very newfound level of exhausted.
Yeah. I'm excited. That sounds amazing. And that's the week. That's the itinerary right there. That's all it is.
Yep. So are you going to be at the press conference, David?
Yeah.
He doesn't have a choice.
I really don't.
He goes wherever I go. He doesn't
pretty
have a
much.
choice.
Oh, perfect.
So we're pimping out the llama to pay for his commute down to North Carolina.
Pay for the llama hugs. Llama
We,
hugs.
we,
$20.
we can't charge by the pound, so because the llama weighs like nothing, so the llama might come back a little scarred for life, but it's okay.
He has. I'm not surprised he hasn't already. With all the stuff that's happened on the road or going on the road shows.
There was people trying to eat him when we were at the convention in Tennessee.
Yeah.
You were there. You were there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Savannah tried to choke him. I think Sue Young tried to eat him. Yeah, there's. I mean, but to Sue Young's credit, she tries to eat humans. So,
good point.
Yeah,
good point.
This is accurate, man. So we do actually have an image of the card as well.
Yeah.
So, got Rosemary and Marie going up against each other. Savannah Evans from Impact versus the Amazonian. JAC is a talent we know quite well, going up against Logan Quindell. Martin Stone rather is going to be hosting an open challenge. I don't know. So that's one of those 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the others, in my opinion. I'm going to take this away for a minute. That situation with Martin Stone is 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. And now I'm going to tell you why. Number one, you get in the ring with Martin Stone. You get the rub. Number two, you're getting in the ring with Martin Stone. He's going to rub you. Those are not the same thing, okay? They're not the same.
Yeah, and him being one of those guys who's not only trained in the United States, but he has that UK background training, so he can bring so many different styles to the ring. It's going to be an honor for whoever gets in the ring with him. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they'll feel that way after the match is over, but I can tell you one thing: they will definitely they'll definitely learn during that match, win or lose. They're going to leave that learning something.
Oh, yeah. I 100% agree with
that. That's
a
match to watch, just to watch, just to learn kind of what he's going to be coming up with. Because man, the talent, the know-how is going to be fantastic.
Right. Gustavo and Toby.
And Primo Masfino. My money's on the cousin. It has to be. He he has the rhythm, and once that rhythm starts going, you can't stop
him. I'm more interested in Colby Carino versus PJ Savage. Colby Carino is one hell of a professional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the triple threat, which the print is way too small for me to read from here. So
I think I got you on that one. One moment.
I appreciate you.
No problem. Is what I'm here for. That's that's why they pay me the big bucks.
Oh, you do something. Gotcha.
Yeah. I work. Let's see. Open.
Nah, I'm sitting here looking. I'm like,
This is blurry, he says.
Yeah.
Yep. So that is going to be the Renegade Outlaw, Lestat, versus the Crossfire, Mr. Nathan Cross, versus Champagne for the World Heavyweight Championship Triple Threat match.
That's cool. Then you've got a Battle Royal on hand.
Those are fun.
Those are always a good time. Battle Royals are always entertaining. I don't get people don't like Battle Royals for whatever reason. They don't like them. And then
I can tell you why people don't like Battle Royals.
Why is that?
Because most independent companies, they use a Battle Royal as a reward for the ticket sellers. The talent, the lower tier talent who sold 15 to 20 tickets each. So they're responsible for, let's say, 25 to 40% of the crowd that showed up that day. And their reward is to partake in a Battle Royal. So it winds up being a big sloppy disaster most times than not. So, and it's also a time gap filler, which is also not a good reason to do a Battle Royal. So it just becomes really messy, and it's all done. A lot of times, it's done for the wrong reasons. You could put on a nice battle royal, and for it not to be a big clusterfuck. So that's our goal.
Right.
It's a nice battle
I
royal.
I have gotten accustomed to. I do enjoy the scramble matches. I think those are kind of
Yes.
fun.
Those
Those are
are
fun,
cool.
especially when they're the elimination style scramble
Yeah.
match. I like that better than I
They
do
haven't done anything like that in a while, too. Those are so much fun.
when you got 8 people or whatever, and it's a scramble match, and first pinfall takes it. It's like, nah, I don't. That one doesn't do it for me as well as lasting through 8 people to win the match. I think that's more fun. But that's
Right.
that's my opinion. And who am I? I'm just an asshole with a podcast with people watching. Yeah, that's all.
Hopefully,
Oh yeah, there's
Uh,
there's people
There's
watching.
people watching. There's people watching.
all these people need to stop asking some questions, man. They're just be sitting there freaking
There's
using us as
well, they're
background
sitting on
noise,
their hands. They are awaiting with bated breath as we
eating
speak
their
the next thing.
Cheetos.
Yeah. They might be eating Cheetos. I don't know. I
I
don't
have
really
to
eat
ask:
chips.
is Cyrus still making an appearance?
As far as I know, he is. I think
Cyrus
he's
the
in that.
Destroyer.
Might be in.
Nice.
I think he might be in that battle royal.
Him's a big boy.
Okay.
He's gonna be probably one of the bigger threats in that battle royal.
I think TJ Marconi's in that battle royal too.
Yes, he. Oh yeah, he is. Ooh, dang! It's a whole lot of big boys, big beefy boys being brutal. That's what I like to say.
You have a tag team title match happening. You've got
Let's see which. Yeah, you have Team Pitbull versus the New Breed for the tag team championship. One of my favorites. It's gonna be Deadly Sins versus the team of Dylan Crossley, Bojack, and Diego Hill.
man, that's gonna be cool.
That is a well-rounded team. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
You got the powerhouse, the high flyer, and the technician.
You've got
The
another
Deadly Sins are picking up some momentum here in New Jersey, so they're gonna try to make a serious statement.
nothing wrong with that. Now you also have another triple threat heavyweight championship match going on. And that's Mac. Man, I need to fix this.
Steve
Monster
Monster Mac,
Yeah, that's it.
Anthony Gangon, and Johnny Moran.
Johnny Moran.
Damn. That is going to be hectic.
My money's on. Well, it could go either way.
I mean, if you want to go, there's different ways you can look at it. You can look at, all right, so triple threat match, the champion doesn't have to be pinned to lose his championship. So you always say, all right, the advantage goes to the other two guys. Steve Monster Mac's been wrestling for 26 years. He's wrestled all over the world. So experience-wise, he's probably wrestling longer than both of the other two added together. Anthony Gangone is an accomplished star. Just because he's not on TV doesn't mean he's not a star. He's a star. And Johnny Moran just got a chip on the shoulder, and he feels that Titan hasn't been fair to him, and that he's been screwed too many times. And he's just recently captured obviously one half of the Titan Tag Team Championship. So he's right now looking to add another belt to his collection and bring it to his stable. So, puts Gangone in a really tough situation because he's got to have his head on a swivel, and he's got to survive. And it's so you look at it from any angle you want. You could say, all right, what experience goes to Mac. The champion has usually the edge when it comes to just because he's the champion and they're going to be chasing him. And then you got Johnny Moran, who's got the chip on his shoulder, and he's got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So it's going to be an interesting match for sure.
Most definitely. Either way, that's a hell of a card for essentially, this is like a charity convention. You know what I mean? because the benefits are, all the money raised is going to go to take care of the museum. That's huge. So I mean, this is going to be a hell of a time out there, ladies and gentlemen. So
It's going to be an event. It's going to be a moment in time you don't want to miss out.
It's going to be a giant. It's going to be a giant celebration. I mean,
that's
it is what it
exactly
is. It's
what
got
it
that
is.
name. It's got a name. It's got that name for a reason. It's in capital letters, not because we're screaming it, through text messages. It's a giant celebration because we want it to be as big as the memory and the aura that Andre the Giant gave off in professional wrestling. Look, we could have brought every pro wrestler, recent WWE or AEW releases and built up a ridiculous payroll to put on a show. But that's not what it's about. It's about the independent part of it, the wrestling part of it is about putting on the best showcase of wrestling from multiple companies throughout multiple states, and that's what we're doing. We have wrestlers from New York, New Jersey, New England area, Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee. I mean, that's all those states are being represented right there in the streets of Ellerbe for wrestling. And then we have the Andre part of it inside for the convention, where you're going to hear stories from these legends that worked right next to, worked against. A guy like Chuck Coates, a North Carolina guy who wrestled Andre the Giant on numerous occasions, got his ass handed to him on numerous occasions. He's going to have some great stories. He's excited. I told him he's got a trading card. You know what he said to me? I'm officially one of them now.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's so cool.
So he's excited about that, and then, you got Ted DiBiase. Ted DiBiase and Andre have a very rich history when it comes to WWE lore. It was Andre defeating Hulk Hogan in the middle, pinned him, took the championship. Of course, he had the Hebner debacle, but whatever. WWE recognized Andre the Giant as the WWF World Heavyweight Champion, and then they go to the back, they do the interview, and Andre gives the belt to Ted DiBiase. He purchased the title from him, and a lot of people don't know because this was pre-social media, this was pre-cable, things like that. Ted DiBiase was actually out on house shows and was announced as WWF champion, and he defended the title. WWF then stopped recognizing him, and then Jack Tunney came in, stripped him of the title. WrestleMania 4 became a thing with the tournament, which showcased some of the greatest names in the history of wrestling on one freaking show.
And it's funny that you mentioned because I literally was watching WrestleMania 3 right before we were getting on.
Yep.
Just doing my homework, just kind of going through some stuff, reminiscing.
Because I was in here at 7 something to set up the show and get the announcements out and all that, and then David jumped in the green room, and I could hear it, and I'm like, "Are you listening to Howard Finkel?" Because that was what I heard first was Howard Finkel announcing, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he told me, and I just started laughing because I remember when I first started ring announcing, I had no clue what I was doing. I went and listened to him. That's what I did. I went and just listened to hours upon hours of Howard the Fink. That was it. I just listened to him for a month.
People who are baseball fans, who hear certain broadcasters, like we'll say like Vince Scully. In New York, we had Bob Murphy. They were the voice of summer. People heard their voices and they automatically related it to baseball. I might be showing my age a little, but back in the day on the radio, Casey Kasem, he was the voice of the American Top 40. You heard his voice, you're like, oh, the American Top 40's on. You didn't think it was anything else but that. So it was just, when you hear certain voices, you relate it to them. And Howard Finkel, without a shadow of doubt, no disrespect to Mike McGurk, or Lillian Garcia or anybody else that followed, but he was the voice of wrestling.
Greatest of all time. Period. Bar none. Period. The one. There isn't another one. There's that one. That's it.
I agree.
Question, because you just dawned on, because you're talking about, or watching all stuff here, because I think it's probably going to come up in the conference and all that. People are going to ask, what's your favorite Andre moment and all that. But I have a question. You said earlier that there's going to be one last meeting. Are there any surprises or anything that might be coming up or anything that might change? I'm just asking. I have to ask for the show this weekend, or anything that
I honestly don't. I don't think so. I mean, there's a couple of things we were kind of holding out for and hoping that did happen, especially with AEW running less than an hour away. There was a couple of people we were hoping that might make an appearance at this event. I don't know if it's 100% no, because I'm not, the type of person that's going to keep like asking and bothering people about the particular topic. It's, I guess, in my mind, if it happens, it happens. If I need to know, they'll let me know.
True.
Plus, and there was also some WWE connections that we were hoping would materialize as well. Again, same thing. I'm not sure. I don't even know if that's even going to be discussed. I mean, I think this is just pretty much dotting all our I's and crossing all our T's and making sure we have our itinerary down to a time and where everybody's staying and in vicinity of where the press conference is going to be on Friday, and making sure who's getting the talent at the airports and stuff like that. So, things like that. So, I mean, we were supposed to have it today, but like I said, I had people here earlier. I had the podcast. I told them I wouldn't be part of it, and then a couple of people had some hiccups with work, so they decided to schedule it for tomorrow. So, I think that's for the best, because you're missing one person, then you got to repeat the same conversation. And if you've ever played that game in school called telephone, where you whisper into the first kid ear, and by the time it got to the other side of the classroom, it changed like 16 times. So you want everybody to get the first draft.
This is true, yeah.
One thing I will tell you, just for a thought for that, there's a program called WebEx, which I know a lot of people use Zoom and a lot of people use this and this, or Discord or whatever. You can record Discord if you want, but it sounds like shit. Yeah. WebEx is the way for doing stuff like that, because you can record it and play it back and send it through all that.
Gotcha.
So WebEx is a badass feature for that. I use WebEx daily in my real life. So
okay.
It is.
I mean, what I used to do back in the day, I used, because I have when I podcasted, I had a digital recorder, so I would just put the speakerphone, put the digital recorder right next to it, hold the conference call, and then I had everything there. If I just play it back when I wanted to, if I needed to. Right. I mean, I'm just thinking about people who might not be able to jump on the call, whatever the case may be, but. As far as I know, everybody's going to be on the call tomorrow, and I think we're good to rock and roll. I think it's just everybody's just trying to calm each other the fuck down, because I think everybody's kind of wound really tight right now, because it's the home stretch.
It's getting down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, you got somebody like me. I'm driving down, so I'm leaving at 3 to 4 a.m. on Thursday morning. I got to go pick up a dope in Pennsylvania, and then make my way down. So, I have a lot of things on my mind, making sure that I have my signage, my table, my marketing stuff on my table, making sure I pick the photos up from the print shop, get them packed along with the trading cards and the tablecloths and the markers, and like everything's got it. Plus, let's not forget, I got to pack clothes and stuff like that. So, I got a gazillion things on my mind, making sure I got my pop-up banners, and I got my little Lowe's garden cart, so I can throw all that shit in the cart and get it in the building. And, it's one of the advantages of driving and to most of the events is that I get to load the car up with as much crap as possible. But at the same time,
You have to
um,
load the car up with as much shit as possible.
I gotta load the car up with as much shit, and I gotta put it in the order of taking it out. So I gotta make sure that like the personal items are where I can grab them to take them out because
This
we're
is
not
true.
bringing them in the hotel. So I don't know. The llama's probably gonna have to ride on the spoiler on the back.
Spoiler on the back.
No, I get it because like I stack my trunk the same way. I bought one of those big the thing you stuff clothes in and shove it under the bed and it's got wheels on it.
Yeah.
I got one of them white
Mhm.
S. All my shirts are in that. I've got my rolling gear bag, which has like camera parts and electrical cords and all this other crazy shit. Then I have my laptop bag, which has extension cords and more parts and pieces, and a laptop in it. And I just hang my suit up in the back seat, and I carry a cooler everywhere I go. You can almost guarantee you're finding me with a cooler.
Mhm.
There's a reason for
That
that.
makes sense.
It's not because I like to drink. I do enjoy drinking, but not on the road.
Right.
It is because when I want to drink, I'm not going to the concession stand and standing in line. I'm getting into this cooler and grabbing a water or a tea or whatever. I keep I keep, a couple meds in there, whatever.
Yeah.
If I need it, I have it.
I'm the same. I'm the same way. I got my 5-hour energy in there. I got my Polio string cheese. I got my cheese and peanuts freaking protein packs in there.
Yeah. I keep my my bubbly water
stay
and
awake.
my protein snacks. Yep.
I carry protein
Bubble.
shakes, these green teas, and water. That's normally what you find in my cooler, unless my daughter is
Okay.
there and she loads the hell out of the snacks. She puts like the whole top is filled with snacks. If my daughter goes,
I
with
like
her.
snacks, man. I like snacks, and I like the little bags like you get from like BJ's or Costco or
Yeah,
Sam's Club, like the little ones. Because I call those the driving snacks because you open it and you just sit there and as you're driving, you just literally drink your chips or your pretzels or whatever out of the bag.
yeah,
You don't have to two hand it.
right. Well, that's I carry the little 100-calorie bags of popcorn that way. As that's exactly what I get.
Oh, that entire the bag would be gone by Maryland.
Oh yeah, I love popcorn.
We do the pretzel peanut butter pretzels.
I got the big
and,
container of those. They're in my desk at work.
that and jerky, beef jerky, is our go-to.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
can't do
if
that.
if
It's
if it's a
just
big
too
show,
salty.
if we do the big show is like anything, and we know we probably carry a cooler with like lunch meat and cheese and all that and wraps. That way we have that with us. So the easier, healthier way.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Keep that protein intake.
It's not smart to be like eating gas station sushi and buying a big bag of pickle.
My weekend was so rough. Like I didn't even eat dinner yesterday. Period. So Friday night was the pinnacle of my dining experience, and that was Texas Roadhouse. I had Chick-fil-A for breakfast Saturday, Wendy's at like 10 o'clock at night, Saturday night, and Sonic on Sunday at like midday. That was my entire weekend's intake of food.
That's a lot of fried food.
I felt like shit.
Wow. And don't get me wrong, I would eat all that, but
yeah, I just felt like
I'm still using those Texas Roadhouse coupons from Tennessee.
Oh, nice.
Still using them to get my free Petal Blossom, and I still got 3 left. Yeah,
we are getting breakfast that morning, right?
Maybe no, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I won't stop and get like food for Michael and I until I pick you up. But you better not be bringing us to no sketchy ass Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, freaking bodega. I don't want to be starting my morning off, running from bullets.
No, he's taking you right to the Amish country,
fantastic.
and you're gonna get some milk that looks like cheese. and then
God.
you're just going to be turned off for the rest of the
Oh,
trip.
there's a barbecue place nearby. Oh my god, they do breakfast.
You're like,
barbecue.
what does it look like? String cheese in a container.
Oh,
But I'm pouring it out.
Gross.
That's it. That is exactly what's going to happen.
So
Amish
speaking of
country.
food, you mentioned food trucks. You said there's going to be like a whole outside. Do you know who's coming? Do you know any?
Yeah.
Wise, what we have in store, food wise, vendor wise.
I know. There's definitely going to be an ice cream truck and a shaved ice truck. Food wise, damn it, he did tell me. I think there's going to be like 2 food trucks. One might be Italian themed, and I think there's another one as well.
Of course, he's going to have an Italian themed food truck. Why wouldn't he?
Come on, bro.
You got to. You have to.
We're going to be working for like 12 hours. We're going to need to carb the hell up.
Bro, not only that, like, there used to be this place, David, you might remember this because it sounds like a place you would have gone. There was this place called Cluck You Chicken. Do you guys remember Cluck You Chicken? Okay.
The fast food.
It was, but they used to sell a chicken Parmesan sandwich. Now, the plate was regular size styrofoam plate, right? When they brought that bastard to you, the cheese was running over the edge. And the bun, no shit, the bun was every bit of 6 inches round. That sandwich was freaking great for like $6.
They still have
mid 2000s.
They still have Cluck Hughes in Jersey. There's one in Aberdeen, New Jersey.
Damn it! Now I have a reason to go to Jersey because they closed the one in PG County.
September 16th in Aberdeen, New Jersey. Goddesses of War and Titan Championship Wrestling present Blades of Glory, so you can get great wrestling and
great food. You have the
poster
poster
for that, right? But it's Cluck You Chicken.
We don't have the poster for that. I have the poster for the 20th, which I was going to
It's a little down the road. So I just planted the Cluck You Chicken seed. We'll talk about that at a later date when I
nice segue though.
Down the road because we talk about shit in October, bro. we announced shit for October already.
I'm booked until January, so I don't. We can be here for another 4 hours if you want to go over my schedule. But
no, well, you said food trucks. I was excited, so you got an Italian one.
How can you not? The only thing that I'm kind of upset about is I'm missing the Keyport Firemen's Fair, and I'm missing the Middlesex County Fair while I'm away, and that is a lot of food truck opportunity missed. I'm going to be a little upset, but I think I'll get over it. But I just wish that Greek truck well because I'm going to miss it. Gonna miss it.
That's what David should do. Is a food truck. You like to cook?
I get told that a lot. I really do. I'm pretty good cook.
You should do a food
truck. All right, look. The problem, like I cook every day. He's always yelling at me. Everybody's yelling at me. Stop posting freaking food. You're making me hungry. Yada yada yada. But when you cook because you enjoy it and you're doing it at home at your own pace and trying to put a smile on, your significant other's face or your family or barbecuing, whatever. It's great. But when you have to do it for the general public and you have to do it to make money and pay bills, it's no longer fun because now it's a necessity.
I don't know, man. The movie Chef paints an entirely different picture of that. That's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I love that movie. I watch it every time it's on TV.
It's a good movie.
So yeah, I mean, if none of your Cheeto eating fans have any questions, we can do August 20th.
Habanero is delicious. No, it's ghost pepper honey is good.
On what? So you just put it on your finger and eat it? What the hell are you talking about? You're just so random.
No, you said Cheetos, and then you just Cheetos.
That was like 10 minutes ago. We're going backwards in time now. No, I thought you were talking about Buffalo Wild Wings or something. What the hell?
Ew.
I don't eat crats. That's an instant trip. That's like if I want to detox, I just go to Buffalo Wild Wings because it's coming out.
Or Taco Hell, one of the two.
Oh, I love Taco Bell, bro. Love it.
Nah,
So
The
good.
nacho fries,
So-
yes. But I had some I don't know. I think they got their meat from Asia or some shit because
Oh
it
no,
did not
man.
taste like steak. It was it wasn't even the right color. Okay.
But you might have had a bit. Maybe you had a bad day, or you just had some Taco Bell employees that just don't give a rat's ass. And with this
Yeah, 'cause
generation
it's
of
it's
employees
pretty
that we
good,
have
man.
out there,
That's another good
well,
point. Yeah,
Went
I
to the
know all
it,
about it. I know.
There's
if you look up fast food, Taco Bell is ranked
WrestleBash, 20th.
the top of the list as far as healthiest choices for
It's
fast
true.
food. It's the,
The
it's
best
the
protein
lowest salt
as
count,
well.
the best protein, the lowest salt, sodium count, and when it comes to like the lettuce and the tomatoes and the dairy products, it's always the freshest and highest quality.
Yep.
Wow. But it tastes like ass. I don't know.
It could just
I
be
don't know how you do that.
where you're going, man. I mean,
That's
look,
probably accurate. I live in the South, so like the
Hey,
bumpkins here
come
are
think about it. They don't know nothing
are
about no Mexican food.
not here. We'd have to go to Texas or something for them to know something about Mexican food.
I would go to Buc-ee's. I would just load
Bucky's
up.
is
Never been.
fantastic, but no,
Never
you're
been.
broken. I'm sorry, you're screwed.
Never
Bucky's is
been.
fantastic. I had the brisket sandwich and it was fucking
So
amazing.
good. Their food is so good. Dude. People ask me all the time because I always post like when I'm at one. I think last time I posted a picture with me with the guy dressed up as Bucky. Or I think it was a guy, could have been a girl. And people are like, "How is it? Like, what is it?" I said, "All right, well, picture a Wawa and picture Walmart, and they got together. They did a shitload of steroids, and they had a baby. That's the inside of a Bucky's. And then outside, it just looks like they dropped like 17 Wawa gas stations all in one parking lot.
There's normally 100 gas pumps at these damn things.
It's insanity. And the fact that they don't allow truck drivers in there, which I think is very, very nice. And sorry, Billy, if you're watching this, I know you're a truck driver. Because it makes the families that are coming in feel a little bit safer. They're coming in with their RVs, they're coming in with their wagons and everything else, and they're looking for someone to go with their kids in the bathroom, get something to eat. And you always go to those places like Pilot and Love and Flying J, and they got all the shit you need, but damn, they're sketchy.
He's not
Some of
wrong.
Some
He's not
of them,
wrong.
dude.
So that's like road trip stuff. So now, are we going to be passing one on our way down?
A Bucky's, no, because we're going away from the coastline, so
Oh,
Yeah,
so we're going
no.
to the left.
we're going to the left.
You're going away from the coastline. You're going west.
Southwest, not left.
Oh,
That's right.
I thought you said
Because
west.
you're going down 95, hooking a hard right.
That's right. What kind of compass are you reading, lad?
You're going
can't.
down and to the right.
We're going to the left.
Yeah. Jesus.
The first left we make, I'm gonna make sure I point it out to him. Like, all right, this is a left.
The only way you're going to make a left is if it's on an exit ramp somewhere around the 495 corridor. That's it.
Sounds about right.
I haven't even looked at the path we're taking yet. I hope it's like the most unbeaten, like weird ass path possible.
You're going down into PA. You're coming through Baltimore, around the bottom of DC, hooking a left at the 495 95 interchange.
If you want to do that, but I mean, if you want to avoid the toll roads, are we taking toll roads?
I don't know. Last time I went down, it took me through Delaware, where I was literally in Delaware, into Maryland.
Yeah,
and then I stayed. I didn't even get back on 95 at all until I was past DC.
You went to Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel.
Yep.
In that occasion. Yeah. Okay. So that bridge tunnel is more expensive than every fucking toll that you go through from PA through Baltimore.
That explains.
But you don't have to you just don't have to deal with the assholes in DC driving on 95. It's so.
I have had fantastic luck going through there recently, so I can't say anything negative. Dude, I'll put it like this. I can go from Spartanburg to Southern Maryland and back in the same day. That's 15 hours round trip. No, without, that's pushing.
Yeah.
'Cause-
It's probably gonna take me to the back roads because we're leaving at 3:00, and I gotta stop, get back on the road. It'd put us in the DC area somewhere around 9 a.m. So it's
Not
probably
really.
gonna be
DC's only like 3 hours away from where I'm at.
You're 2 hours away from me there, Magellan.
Oh, makes sense. It's mathing. It's mathing. You gotta take a left.
Yeah.
This fucking guy. You see, Kevin, you see what I have to deal with, right? This is nonstop. But anyway, if I didn't like him, I wouldn't fuck with him, and he knows it. So,
This is true.
so, there's that.
So let's see. So we went down the car, went down the vendors.
Let's
Well,
talk
two
about
vendors.
WrestleBash.
Yeah. 'Cause
So
that
this is the match that you are presenting.
Yeah, this is the two guests that I'm bringing in for the show. Asylum Wrestling Superstore presents WrestleBash, running in Fairfield, New Jersey. And I have current and working her way back to the roster, Superstar Thunder Rosa, former AEW Women's World Champion, former NWA Women's World Champion. And we will also be bringing in former two-time Impact Knockouts champion, Knockouts Tag Champion, and the first ever Knockouts Tag Champion, Sarah Stock, also known as Sarita. And we'll be conveniently sitting next to the young lady who is now a former three-time Knockouts Tag Champion, Taylor Wilde, who was Sarita's tag team partner when they became the first ever Knockouts Tag Champs. And we'll have a nice replica belt, tag belt, the original. So photo ops will be fun.
For a second there, because we talked about it, we thought that was the match. That was the match. I'm like, oh wow.
No, not a match. I don't think I just lost my ear. I'm not really sure if I don't think they do wrestling after the show. I don't know. So I usually as soon as it's 3:00, time to go. Boom, I'm out the door. So I don't.
You're gone.
Yeah, because it's going to be the same thing because I have. We're going to make sure that Sarah has a ride to the airport because she's going right home. Thunder Rosa, we're going to Zonk's Pop Culture Toy Store, and she's doing a signing there. So we got to stop, get food, boom, get to the next spot. So always on the run, and then we'll get home. I'm sure everybody will pass the hell out, and then Monday morning we have a private signing coming in to do with Thunder Rosa, and then she's off to the airport. She has a flight that night to go to London.
Wow.
Oh, dope.
That's
so.
crazy.
Is this a one-day event as well?
Yeah.
Yes, this is a one-day event. Yep.
Look at that. Man, you always got the hookups here. Always finding these cool events to be at.
I got to be honest. They reached out to me, and last year was the first year they did it. They reached out to me. I think I met them originally at the first and second Baltimore Celeb Fest, and that's where we kind of hooked up and were talking and things like that. And I don't have a bad reputation of what I do, so. When somebody's going to run a show, they call me and they ask me to be part of it. I throw some ideas off to them. What kind of convention you thinking you're going to do? The fact that they're doing it on Sunday is great. So that gets to the opportunity to bring in AEW talent now because of Collision. You can't really do anything on Saturdays. So this worked out great for everybody, but. First show was great. I mean, they did it in a smaller location, and I want to say they had well over 600 people at the first show, and it was a little crazy in that building because it was tight. And now they're moving into a bigger venue, and I'm fully expecting them to have anywhere between 700 to 800. If they have more, great. I'm never the one to complain that, oh my God, it's so crowded in here. That's a good thing. That's a blessing.
Right.
Is there I mean, this upcoming weekend and then that next week, 2 weeks, yeah, are big conventions, big shows, and events. Are you planning on doing more stuff down here if this goes well? Because it looks like it's going to be pretty big, man.
That and your
Um,
involvement with
Ah,
Titan.
yeah, like I think, like what I love about the whole situation is like you have so many promotions working together to put on such an awesome show. I think that has a lot of
I
potential to
don't,
put on like to be like a.
honestly, I don't know. I think this is kind of like one of those wait and sees. We have to
Mhm.
see what happens with the show and how everything turns out, how the reaction is to it, and then you also got to wait for the reaction after. The streaming and the buys and things like that. Like how are people going to react to after the ones who couldn't get come, but they want to, they hear about it and they want to take part watching it, things like that. So it's it's um it's an interesting possibility. I mean, we got to wait and see what happens. I mean, I'll be down in North Carolina again in November for WrestleCade, November 25th.
We'll
So
see you there.
it'll be my third trip to North Carolina this year, and
Yep, we'll be
I've
there.
already been to Florida. Already been to Florida once. I mean, I've been down there a lot. Been down there a lot this year so far, and I got a bunch of other trips that I got lined up. Possibly Fort Wayne, Indiana trip,
Okay.
Wisconsin trip in December. Um, then of course we had big event in November. Aforementioned WrestleCade in November, so it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I'd like to any month that I might not have a convention for, I might be intrigued on the idea of bringing back the virtual signings that I was doing, just to fill the gap between shows. So bring a talent or two in and do a couple stores, here, there, Jersey, New York, wherever, and then have the set up the portion of my house again as a studio and do the virtual signings.
I got.
Just
I
just to
watched those. They're a lot of fun just to watch because you're really like you just it's kind of intimate setting. You get to talk to the. I mean, the talent are answering questions. It's pretty cool.
yeah, it's fun, and if it's done right, and I say, look, I'm not saying how someone does it is not right or someone does it that's better than you. There's people that are still doing them on a weekend basis. They're pretty much doing this for a living now. It has run its course. It has died out a bit, but to do it occasionally, like kind of like a pop up sale, like I said, once in a while, maybe like 3 or 4 times a year, I think is fine. But the one thing I always prided myself on when I did these virtual events was the fans aren't paying to see me. There's no reason for me to be on the damn camera. And that always irked me when I would see these virtual signings and I'd see the promoter or a handler sitting right next to the talent on camera. Oh, here's your photo. Oh, here's your trading card. Can you sign that for Bob? You don't need to be on camera for that, bro. Just sit on the other side. You hand them the photo. Nobody needs to see you. They're not paying to see you. They're paying to see the talent. So that always irked me. You would hear me, because I'd be
Yeah.
reading a question. A lot of times we'd run like one or either 2 to 3 people on our production along with the talent. So I would be in one corner with the computer reading questions. Then there would be one person that would be pointing to the item that needed to be signed. I would then read what the person wanted. They would sign it. And then it would get handed to the third person who is now putting a post-it on it, labeling it, putting it on a side, get it ready for shipment. So we had a nice system. It was fun. Like I said, it ran its course because once everything started opening, all the stores started opening, all the conventions started rerunning, and things like that. It kind of you didn't need the need for virtual signings. Virtual signings is great for someone that wants to order a mail order. So if I bring in, say,
This
like
is true.
Bob Orton this weekend, and somebody says, "Hey, can I order something through the mail?" Yeah, yeah. So what's better than having your mail order signed in front of you on a virtual stream? So that's literally your certificate of authenticity is right there. That's it's authentic. and you get to watch it. We were doing virtual mail orders for a while after that. So every mail order we were doing, we were taking a video of the talent signing the autograph and then holding it up and saying thank you to the customer. And then we would send that video clip to the customer, and then obviously later on mail out their item. So that was kind of their little virtual mail order. That becomes a little pain in the ass when you bring in somebody like a level of Thunder Rosa and then your mail orders are like 75 to 100 pieces. Then it's kind of like so we usually don't do any of the mail orders with Thunder Rosa at the venues. She usually sits at my dining room table and just signs and slides them over and slides them over and slides them over, because it's chaotic. And then you take the chance of damaging people's items. So you're bringing them from the house to the venue, taking them out, having them sign it, repacking them up, putting it back in the bag, bringing it back to the car, bringing it back to the house. Then it's got to come out, get put in the mail or mailed out. That's just so many opportunities for her to get damaged. So it's just easier. Get it in the mail, put it on the table. When she's ready, she sits down, she signs it, gets put in the mailer, put on the side until it's ready to go to the post office. Just so many different hands that it doesn't have to touch.
Right. I get what you mean. I do see a lot of those. I think there's a dude named Joe that does them. I can't remember. Anyway, there's a dude named Joe that does a lot of those signings, like you're talking about the virtual signings. So I see a bunch of them from him. I see some pop up from High Spots. Marty T Mart does them.
He does them, yeah.
Yeah. Like I say, I had the opportunity to talk to
T-Mart. The thing with T-Mart, I've booked a lot of talent for T-Mart for his virtuals. The thing with T-Mart's more like a personable thing. He's relaxed. He's having a beer. They're kidding around. They're having a freaking good all time. It's like, inviting your friend over for dinner, but there's a camera rolling, and you're signing shit. So it's like, it's a fun experience. And, then you got guys like, like KNS or High Spots or I won't even name his name, but the other jackass from Philly. So you have them, and it's more professional. It's more, nose to the grindstone. We have methods to do it. Don't defer from the method. Do this first. Do that second. Like robot, which is fine. That's the way they do it. That's what's made them successful. That's what's making them money. As I said, nobody's doing it wrong. Everybody's got a different way of doing it. My particular method is, I stay off camera and we have a good time. If anybody's seen our virtuals from, the early years of doing it, 2020, we had Eric Bischoff, we had Thunder Rosa, we had Nyla Rose, we had a lot of AEW Dark talent that came down, like Christy James. We had the MK twins before they went to Women of Wrestling in California. We had Lady Top. Actually, today was the anniversary of the Tongan trio virtual signing when we had the MK twins and Lady Tapa. I've had Angel Amber O'Neil. I had Angelina Love. So many of them. And Eric Bischoff is just pounding down Coors Lights during the thing. He's having fun.
He's just
good
chilling,
old time. We had Bob Orton and Molly Holly. Bob, we had a stupid filter that kept giving Bob Orton a black top hat, and we couldn't get the damn thing off without killing the feed and restarting. So every time he would turn to the camera, he looked like one of the Blues Brothers. He had the black glasses on with the freaking hat, and he's laughing because he can see it on my computer.
Wow.
And then Molly Holly sat down, and she was like, the camera went to her, and then boom, she had the top hat and glasses, and she made a joke like, "Oh man, if I would have known that I would have had this filter on, I wouldn't have put makeup on." So we all having a good time. I don't know how the hell. I still to this day have no idea how that happened. I don't even see the feature, and again, never happened again after that. So I think it was just a glitch, and we just we had to deal with it because I would have to kill the feed, bring it back up, and then hope everybody that was on that feed would realize that we're on a new feed. And it just wasn't worth it. That was actually the first in-person virtual we did was Bob Orton and Molly Holly. The first virtual that I ever did during the pandemic was Taylor Wilde from Canada. we did a how do you call that, a remote one. We did a remote virtual sign.
Right.
So we sent her all the stuff, labeled everything. We went online together, signed, and even then, my picture, my logo was on the screen. I didn't. You hear me? Just see my logo. I wasn't on the feed. And yeah, so that was one of our first. But the very first virtual signing and sales thing I ever did was actually 2017. I don't want to say I'm the first person that started virtual signings or virtual sales, because I'm sure there's somebody sold like Avon or bracelets or stuff like that. Like people sell stuff online. But I had the Twisted Sisters, Thunder Rosa and Holla Dead, when they were a tag team. I had them live from my studio, sitting on the couch behind me, and they both had their microphones, and they were selling T-shirts and stickers and all this crap, literally during a podcast interview. So it was, and that was 2017. So, when 2020 rolled around and we had the pandemic and everything was locked down, it was just a matter of getting a banner to hang in the background with the logo and making it look a little bit more like a studio than a bedroom. And it was fun.
I think they were great. I'd watch. Just
the talent would be like, hey, where's the? I'm like, oh, it's in my dining room. I'm like, really? I'm like, yeah. Then we did get to the dining room. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I see what's going on, And then we moved it to my back family room when we had 3 or more, and we had the big huge curtain hanging over my window, and it looked great. It really looked wonderful. We did the 2 tables, so they were sitting at a table, and then there was a secondary table in front of them that had all the photos and anything that needed to be presented, and it was good. I mean, we did what we had to do to survive.
I was gonna ask, are you bringing that background with you?
The fabric one, yes. The one with the damage logo with the 3 spotlights.
Here's a thought. You're okay with it? Because I like to promote. That's the kind of guy I am. Why not do like a live while we're there?
Like a live sale?
No,
or just
like a live, yeah. Like sit down, here we are, blah blah blah. We're here at the show. Get some talent on.
I'm sure I'm gonna do some stuff like that. Not completely like the whole time. I like to kind of like video document my trips. I don't know if you saw my last year. I did one for WrestleCade, and I kind of did like us on the road. First of us coming down the stairs at 3:00 in the morning, headed to the car, loading the car, on the road, stopping at a rest stop, and the Dunkin' Donuts was closed, and me having a hissy fit, and then
I'd have been bothered too. I'm a Dunkin' guy.
5:00 in the morning. 5:00 in the morning. How are you not open? It was in the middle of the week. Like, how are you not open? But whatever. We wound up going to a McDonald's in Virginia, but it was great because I walked in. They were playing Frank Sinatra. They had a Christmas tree up. It was freaking awesome. Loved it. So I got all that. Plus, I had all the footage inside the convention room before we set up, during setup, after setup, during the show. Tracy sent me over footage of all the video that they take of all the fans lining up and going in, and then we speed it up to make them look like they're running in fast, and we played all that to music, and then the trip home, and me driving through the rain on the way home and stuff like that, and and then wrapping it up with the see you next year. It kind of gives everybody a little insight of exactly what we all go through when we get in the car to do some of these road trips, because people just think for some reason it's like Star Trek and they just energize and boop, we just appear at these conventions.
It's an adventure.
Shit. Yeah, of course it's an adventure. I mean, you got to get the talent there. You got to get the talent picked up. You got to get them situated in their hotel. You got to feed them. You got to give them the itinerary. Make sure they're responsible enough to follow the itinerary. You have to backup plan just in case they don't follow the itinerary.
And a handler.
You have to
make sure you have the handler ready.
And then you got to go. You go to your convention hall. You got to set up. The night before, get all your shit set up. Boom, 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 and then the next morning, breakfast, pick up your talent, go to the convention hall, do your 4 to 5 hours of business at the convention. You got to pack up if it's a one-day event. Bring the talent to get some food. and then it's either airport or back to the hotel, whatever it is, depending on scheduling. And then within a 24 hours, I'm back on the road, headed home, getting ready for, the next one. And people just don't realize like what goes into that. And look, I can fly to wherever. I don't like flying. It's not my thing. I flew to California, I flew to Texas. Anywhere else I can pretty much drive to. And if it's 16 hours or less, I'll drive. I don't really care. I like to get out, see things. If I see a random sign that says world's largest thermometer, I'm gonna get out and go see that damn thermometer. That's freaking cool. You can't do that. Yeah, because you can't see that. You're in an airplane. You can't. When you get out to go look at something, you die. And so it doesn't work the same way. So I like to see shit. I'm like I guess I'm like a poor man's Clark Griswold. I don't know.
No, well, I agree with the flying to Texas part. I flew into Texas and drove back. That makes sense to me because the drive back from Texas sucked.
I drove round trip to New Orleans. That trip was, oh man, I'll never do that again. That was WrestleMania weekend, 2018.
That was WrestleMania. That was WrestleMania.
Yes, that was awful. Let's just put it that way. I was driving a white Chevy Astro conversion van.
There's your problem.
No, it was great. The van was great. You had the couch in the back. You had all captain's chairs. Where I hooked up a flat screen and a Sega Genesis in the back so they could play video games. We had all my merch and stuff in the van, and then a bunch of the other promoters from the New York, New Jersey market paid me to bring a U-Haul to the event with all their shit in it. So that was a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it was, we drove to Georgia first. We stopped at family's house, spent a night, and then crossed over through Alabama into New Orleans, things like that. But coming home, it's 23 hours, other than to stop for gas, food, and, go to the bathroom. I drove that whole trip, and that was a miserable drive. I can't even stress how miserable that was. And the whole experience of being in New Orleans wasn't anything for me anyway.
The traffic just sucks just in Georgia.
Well, it's not even that. Nobody knows how to drive anyway. But like just being like in New Orleans, what the hell is that area where Mardi Gras is and all that crap?
The street?
Yeah, that whole area. It was like a shitty version of like driving through the streets of Atlantic City. It was awful. It was just businesses are still beat the shit out of from Katrina. There's just bums everywhere, and they're not like New York bums where they just sit there with a cup, no, they'd walk right up to you and you're like, hey, give me $1. I'm like, what the hell? Like, go away. Like, there's no couth whatsoever. The town smells like piss. The food was super overrated. And
did you go to Cafe Du Mont?
What, to get a beignet? Who cares?
Sir.
It's just bread dipped in freaking oil and powdered sugar. Who gives a crap?
You're breaking my heart.
I'm sorry. I'm not a touristy guy. I like to see stuff. I'll go once.
Dude, you just said you'd get out of the car to go see the world's largest thermometer. How
Yeah,
would you not go get
a
freaking real beignet from Cafe Du Mont?
Because just like Spider-Man tells you in Family Guy,
everybody gets
one. You get one shot. You don't impress me, I ain't going back.
Okay.
That's
Spider-Man tells you in Family Guy. What the?
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one.
I don't get it. I don't watch Family Guy.
I went there. It sucked. I ain't going back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, I've been to so many cities and towns driving There's like LA to me is it's just a shitty version of New York City with short buildings. I hate it.
Is there anything that you want to see
Vaguely
on your way
remember.
down? That we're on our way down to North Carolina that you want to stop
I
at?
don't know, man. I mean, we'll check out those signs as they go by at 85 miles an hour, and if you find anything on your Google search, we already know how great you are with directions, so let me know.
I'll let you know.
Bop, drop, and roll.
I could just hop out. Yeah. No, I'm excited. I can't wait. I love the road trips. Best the best stories come from those road trips.
Man, the best work happens on road trips
Yeah,
because,
true.
man, you run towns with guys long enough and you just keep hearing, or you can book out, a year's worth of content in one good road trip.
This is true.
It's gonna be fun. Between him and myself, I'm sure we're gonna get some cool, video and audio footage, and maybe put a nice little video package together to kind of document the event, and
Oh,
be something to throw on the website, to kind of
Doing it for the
promote it.
TikTok.
Oh, TikTok! Come on, what are you 7?
The Instagram. Do it for the gram. I don't know.
And that's a little better.
I thought, oh, so Instagram isn't the service that Hunter uses. Gotcha. Sorry.
Um,
Are you doing coke? You doing coke?
No, I'll tell him. Did you hear my joke the other night that I said about Coke?
Probably not.
I tried snorting Coke once, but the ice cubes got stuck in my nose.
Nice.
Yep, it's punny. It's punny.
I mean, everybody's probably had coke come out of their nose when you're drinking soda and somebody makes a
Yes.
joke and it comes flying out your nose. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not fun either.
No, that's
But,
god awful.
yeah.
This is
It's
god
gonna be a
awful.
fun trip. Let's see. We spoke about the vendors. We spoke about Bash.
Yeah.
We spoke about. Is there any matches or anything you're excited to see, like wrestle wise? I know you're excited to see the museum.
I'm excited to see the museum, but I'm very excited to push our women's champion to her next level. To put her, she just successfully defended the title against Holodead, which was easily her hardest competition. She took an absolute beating an entire match and still escaped with the title. So that says a lot about her perseverance. And now she's taking on Rosemary, so it's not going to get any easier. And whoever comes out at the end of the night with the Goddesses of War Championship, it's going to be that quick turnaround because, like I said, September 16th we have a show, and they're going to have to come home, whoever it is, and defend that title against a very young up and coming star with a really great look out of Georgia, Ivy Malibu. So if you don't know her, look her up. She's gonna be somebody that's gonna be making some noise on the circuit. But she's already signed. She gets the winner of Marie Valdomina and Rosemary. And then also, the Funhouse Women's champion, the Amazonian. She's been pushed every single match, bigger, bigger, bigger. Last show, she defended the title twice. She came out. She wrestled. Oh man, what the hell is her name? The pretty little problem. I can't remember her name. Oh my god, damn it! Can't remember her name. Shit. But anyway, she defended it, defeated her.
Wait,
was it?
Wait, did she go up against Layla James?
No, that was later in the show.
So that was the second match. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the second match.
Wow.
Yeah, that was her second match. So we're gonna, because now my OCD is kicking in, so I'm gonna have to. That was Battle of Athena. So that was Jordy Lee. She took on Jordy Lee in the first match. And then after intermission, she came out and grabbed the microphone from SP Anderson, who was promoting an event, fundraiser event that he was doing, chased him out of Dodge. And she said she's sick and tired. Her exact words were, "I'm sick and tired of you guys feeding me these skinny bitches." So she said, "I'm putting this title on the line right now. Open challenge. Whoever wants to come out here and try to take it from me." And Layla James answered the bell. She came out. They had a very physical match.
That wasn't even a match. That was a fight. I saw video clips of it. They threw down.
Yep, and she and I was probably the first person who was actually able to throw the Amazonian around a bit and kind of show her what it was to evenly match up. So but she came out, defended the title twice, and now she's going to go into North Carolina to take on Savannah Evans.
Savannah, the cannibal. Oh God, man.
Yeah.
Talk about. I mean, going against Layla James may have helped her a little bit to kind of prepare her, but I don't think she could be completely prepared for the monster that's Savannah Evans, because she is a tough.
Well, I kind of messed with her though, because you remember the Amazonian was in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
She was at the Heroes and Legends show, as was Savannah Evans. So I was there at Thunder Rosa. I had Jordan Grace, and I had Jordan Grace's husband,
Grisham.
Yes.
Cool guy.
Yeah, he's cool. Very quiet, but he's cool.
Until you start talking about video games, then we kind of like nerd out. It was
Jordan's the same way. Jordan's the same way. You got Rosemary, big video game, as is Andrew Everett, big video game. Must be an Impact game. But so we're walking up to. So I take Amanda, and we walk up to Savannah Evans. Now I worked with Savannah Evans the year before at WrestleCade, so I said hello, blah blah blah, and I introduced Amanda. And as we're walking away from the table, she was like, "Oh yeah, she seems really nice." I said, "Man, she's she's just being nice to you." I'm like, "She's a beast." And she's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Yeah, well, I'm a beast too." I'm like, "Well, you're gonna need to, because that's your opponent in North Carolina." That's where I broke it to her.
Well, that's like we saw Audrey. Yeah, Audrey, right?
Mm-hmm.
We met Audrey. Yeah, there. And I was like, dude, Audrey versus Savannah would be killer.
Was that the girl with the jean shorts that was pretty ripped with the shaved head?
Yes, that is her.
Yes. She's got a badass look.
I saw her the following week or a couple weeks later at the Dr. Tom Pritchard seminar. It was an all-day seminar done here in South Carolina. Her top flight.
Her attitude,
her promo game, her attitude, the drills they ran through. I was there from start to finish for the whole thing.
She's from Kentucky, is she not?
She lives on the coast of Carolina.
Yeah, because
she's got a house in Florida.
Yeah,
she's got a spot in Florida, right?
Florida, yeah, because
she's a diver or something.
Mr. Kazana has been trying to get her to come up to Tennessee. He's trying to convince her, trying to persuade her to come up.
I could have swore she
might originally be from Kentucky, maybe. But she's a scuba instructor or something like that, and she's a veteran, military vet. But
yes, man, that I did know.
Yeah, she's a badass.
What's her ring name again?
Audrey. Hold on, I got it right here.
I guess I didn't.
Audrey Allen. It's Audrey Allen, wrestler.
I think I spoke to her on Instagram.
She's fantastic.
Because I was as soon as I went home, I hit her up, and I was just like, "Yeah, we need to get this girl on the show." But,
dude, and she can freaking go. I saw her slam full grown ass men And I mean, I'm talking 200 plus pounders, slam them. I'm like, this is going to be good.
Oh, it's gonna be.
It's all fun and games.
That's gonna be awesome.
It's all
match.
fun and games until she body slams you.
Yeah.
Ring announcer, no bumpy.
He's like, no
ring
bumpy.
announcer. No bumpy.
Oh,
ring
you should make
announcer.
that into a T-shirt. No bumpy.
No, I've been
just a voice,
shoved.
no bumpy.
I've been hitting the head with a microphone. I've had somebody grab me by my tie. I'm out. That's it. That's all I got.
That's when you need to wear the clip on. So when they grab the tie, you can just go.
It's the wrap around the neck clip on bow tie. That's what I wear. And I was actually like, man, if you wanted to really get it through, you should have ripped it off and just thrown it into the crowd. Not gonna bother me. That means I don't have to wear it anymore. Some shows down here, man. We got a couple of them that do the brewery circuit. They hit these breweries up. Man, when you're outdoors at a brewery in South Carolina heat, the one promoter's like, "Hey, bro, you look good. You ain't even got to put your suit on." I was like, "What?" I was wearing the Wrestling Wire T-shirt, and he's like, "Nah, don't change. Wear that. Don't wear the bow tie and the suit. It's too hot out here for that shit." I was like, "That's awesome. Thanks." So,
anything else you want to plug? Anything else that we should know about?
I don't know. We'll have to get me back on here so we can talk about
September
the September 16th show, and maybe I'll give you guys the place where I announced my first big event guest for November.
For November, you got something coming up in November
For WrestleCade? Or for
No. Big event.
Big event.
Oh,
Big event Queens.
Hold
I
on.
took it quite literally as WrestleCade was the big event. Yeah.
No, the convention's called Big Event.
I know.
Oh, okay. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. WrestleCade's fucking huge. This guy said no, the big event. I'm like, there's something bigger? What's bigger?
Well, the big event is it's the show. It's in Queens, New York. I think this year it's actually in Long Island. They moved to a collegiate sports auditorium because they grew out of everywhere that they've been running. They're up to the 24th show, and I've been doing their show since the 8th. So they run twice a year, March and November. So I've been doing these shows since 2013.
Good Lord.
And this coming March will be my 10-year anniversary of doing their shows. So it's gonna be I'm gonna have to come out swinging for that one.
Most definitely. Man, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We've had you on here for 2 hours. We've done held you up.
No, it's been awesome.
Yeah,
he's a
been
talker.
great.
We could talk about anything, and it'll come back to wrestling.
But we talk about my schedule, we'd still be on here for another 2 hours. But that would take away from all the fun crap that's going to happen. And you're definitely going to have to get me back on after this weekend, because I'm sure I'm going to have some fun things to say about that guy and his llama.
Well, so I will probably. I can check the calendar, but I'm pretty sure I can get you a spot between. I'm pretty sure I can get somewhere in between this weekend and the 20th. We could probably get you a night in there somewhere.
Shout out to Mr. Snooty Fox, Mr. Devin Rigsby. Thank you for saying what's up. What's good? Talking about the giant celebrations going to be happening this weekend on Saturday. I'm excited for it. I'm hyped for it.
Yep. Once again, guys, that is a giant celebration. Saturday, August the 12th, 131 Church Street in Ellerbe, North Carolina. You don't want to miss it. Cards stacked to the hill.
Wow.
The card is stacked. It's going to be
11
an awesome
matches.
time. So this all goes to benefit the Rankin Museum of American Heritage. It's the Andre the Giant Museum. It's going to be pretty badass. So, once again, thank you very much, Kevin Nasta. We'll definitely have to have you back on, man.
I appreciate it, guys. Individually, of course, thank you, and your network as well. One last thing I want to wish Christy Torborg, formerly known as Asia, and Marty Bell a happy birthday.
Wow.
Happy birthday, guys.
Yep, happy birthday to them. Very cool. All right, man. Thank you very much. David, you are fucked this weekend. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's gonna be a hectic weekend.
He's gonna torture you.
I know he is.
And I'm gonna laugh at it. I hope he has the video camera, dude. All right, so he needs like the fake taxi cam in his ride going down the road. I wanted so bad when he was talking about Lucy. I got the couch behind me, and I'm like, oh my god, you film podcasts with a couch behind you? Like, fuck, that's worse than me filming with a chair or a bed. I'm like, you know exactly where I was going with this. Anyway.
But sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes, well, no, that's gonna come out wrong. I was like, the couch is good, but no.
Yeah.
Couch co-op. Hey.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it's definitely going to come out wrong. Anyway, so look, we can't go.
I'm excited. You're going to hear from me on the road. I'm probably most likely going to go live while I'm down there. Probably do a live and be like, hey, try to see if I can get some interviews. You know how I am. I like to promote. I like to go out there.
Man, do what you can.
And yeah, I mean, plus there's like what, 6 other promotions that we get to interact with and kind of give a platform to. You know what they say? Best way to get yourself over is getting other people over, and getting those overs, those other talents from 5 different states. They're going to be there live, and collabing with this is going to be an amazing day, bro. It's going to be fantastic.
Yep. Hey, if you get a chance, be sure you talk to some of those legends that are no longer active in the ring, because we could definitely use them on the upcoming new series we're building.
Yes, this is true.
Because we want those people for a very specific reason. Can I tell them the reason, or should I wait? Can I tell them?
We already talked about it.
Did I tell them that I wanted people that were no longer really affiliated with wrestling, because I want them to tell the truth, and that way I don't have to worry about somebody getting, of an angry nasty gram from Vince because they spilled the beans on what happened backstage or whatever. You know what I mean?
Probably have to sign a waiver or something. I don't know, but yeah, I could try. I mean, it doesn't hurt to try. It doesn't hurt to ask. What's the worst thing to say? No thanks. I'm like, all right, cool, thank you.
Yep. On to the next one.
Yeah. And to me, I'm just excited to meet new talent and give them a platform so they can put themselves over, talk about where they're from. Because the card is stacked, dude. Put this card back up. Put the card back up.
One last time, and then we've got to go. I've got a 5:30. Okay. Nope.
Wrong one. That's not it either.
There it is.
That's the card. I mean, you have so many big names.
Nathan Cross is going to be there. Have you seen Nathan Cross in person yet?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah.
If you haven't, give that kid a watch. You're going to enjoy that. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I have. What am I talking about? Yes, I have.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, that's the card. Lots of big names. Lots of big opportunities here. It's going to be a giant celebration.
It is, and that's all there is to it, guys. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's been fun. It's been real fun. You know how it goes. David, you got anything left to say?
I'll see y'all Saturday. I will be going live. So watch out for that. I'll have interviews. I'll show you what's going on. Maybe get a little show-y of the museum. Kind of show some cool stuff. It's going to be a cool weekend. Just be on the lookout on the socials.
We already have because remember I set the deal up with the owner of the museum. We're actually gonna get a live kind of like video tour that we're gonna produce one day. I think we were talking about October for that one. We're trying to definitely fit it into the schedule, but we're going to be interviewing the owner of the museum at one point, heading into October as well. And we're going to set up a kind of a weekend where we can both get down there or whatever and do like a nice video walkthrough of the whole thing. So that way it's real in depth, and we get a lot of good information on what's there at the museum and what's available for people to see. Because I think it'd just be awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
Other than that, you guys have a great evening. We will see you next time. Thus proclaimed.
I'll see you at the Indies.